What is going on, guys? Welcome to my YouTube channel, All Things Cars. Today we're going to be reviewing this beautiful 2017 Alfa Romeo Giulia Q4. This one is my personal car. I've owned it for about 2 years now, but I'm going to give you a full comprehensive review on everything that this beautiful car has to offer. This particular model is painted in Rosso Alfa, and it has black accents, which I think is a beautiful spec that complements this car really well. We're also riding on 18-inch rims. These are the premium upgraded rims, and 245 section tires on the front and back. If we take a walk around here, this Giulia has also been fitted with an AFE Muffler Delete kit, so it sounds even better than it does stock. We'll take a listen to that in just a little bit. But if we keep looking around this car, we can tell it's a stunning mid-size sedan. Nothing to complain about on the outside. Absolutely gorgeous. All right, let's take a quick look at the interior. We'll start in the back here. Unlock it. There we go. And looking inside, we see that we have about par for the course size for mid-size sedans. You can comfortably fit about 2 smaller adults back here. Maybe some kids. It'd be more crammed if you had bigger adults trying to sit in the back, but not too bad. And then if we take a quick look up front as well, taking a look inside, we can see beautiful designed interior, very unique, lovely door panel and everything, nice steering wheel. Yeah, definitely a nice place to be. So let's hop in. We will start it up with this cool start button on the steering wheel. I love that. You can tell a little bit of rumble from that exhaust right on startup. Put the keys away, turn the fans down. All right. And so again, taking a look around inside, we have nice materials everywhere, leather wrapped steering wheel, nice shape. Everything in here is premium, elegantly designed, integrated. This model is the base model, so we're missing a few features like heated seats, the touch screen, the sunroof. This one doesn't have that, but as you'll find out, it's kind of more of a driver's car, so I'm okay with not having some of those things. All right, let's take a quick listen to the exhaust. We'll roll down the window here a little bit. And that does sound pretty good. All right, we'll get buckled up. Roll this back up. Excuse the wet window, we just washed the car. I'm going to put it into drive by pulling down on this nice gear lever here. And we'll hit this, turn off the parking brake. And down here is Alfa's mode selector, DNA, pretty clever, I know. And the N mode is what we're going to be starting in. That's Alfa's kind of normal daily driver mode. So we'll start in that, see how it feels around town. All right, first things first, we got to get out of this crummy parking lot. So this will be a good test of the Alfa's suspension. It is a fixed setup. You can get adaptive dampers and springs on the upgraded models, but again, this is the base model, so it has fixed springs and dampers, but as you'll see, they are very good. They ride over these bumps pretty well, nothing too jarring considering that was literally a pothole the size of Neptune, but it does a very good job at smoothing out the bumps, and it's not very noticeable going over some undulations in the road, so it kind of does a good job weeding out anything you don't want to feel. All right, so getting it out on the road, immediately getting up to speed, this car is very smooth. Transmission kind of just lulls in the background, shifts, you can't really feel them. Engine is linear in the normal mode. It gives you just enough power to get up to speed, but it's nothing jarring. It's nothing you couldn't daily drive, which I guess that's kind of the point of this normal mode, which I appreciate. It gives something that's in between the sport and the comfort. You could knock it into the A mode, which is nice little graphic there. Advanced efficiency mode, which kind of dulls everything even further. It hunts for the highest gear of the transmission. Throttle response is really, really dulled, and it's kind of a gas mileage saving mode, but this could be good for kind of any inclement weather or any situation where, you know, maybe you don't have as much traction or you just want to save some gas. But we're going to put it back into the normal mode, and we'll test this a little bit further. But yeah, driving around, I mean, the steering, you can tell, is razor sharp. I mean, it's got such a supercar-like precision to it that just driving it around town doesn't really do it a justice. But when we get out into some better roads, we'll kind of feel how that correlates with the chassis and the handling of this car, which I think is probably the best part of this vehicle altogether. And yeah, I mean, everything just works very well. That was a nice R8. And you just kind of are lulled into this nice, comfortable ride. I mean, it's very composed, very elegant, but yet still has that kind of sporty edge that you're looking for in an Alfa. And yeah, it feels very good around these corners. I mean, I can do this all day long and not unsettle the car one bit, which I love that. That's great. Even in the normal mode, though, it's very responsive. If I put my foot down, you know, that wasn't even full throttle. I just kind of tipped in half throttle. Definitely took a little longer. There was a little bit of lag from the transmission, from the engine. But again, we're in the kind of normal daily driver mode, so not expecting the fastest reaction time from this car in this mode. That'll be in the dynamic or, you know, kind of sport mode. But yeah, I mean, just cruising on these open roads, it's very, very phenomenal to drive. It's definitely not how you would expect it to drive. It's got this kind of dual personality, and we'll get more into the other side of its personality later on when we get some better roads. But it's very comfortable, and it's cruises well. And you get that murmur from the downshifts of the exhaust, which are just lovely. But everything works in this Giulia very well. It's all ergonomic. I mean, a lot of your controls are on the steering wheel, you know, volume, your tracks. You can call cruise controls right here. Even your start button's on the steering wheel, which I think is pretty cool. And this screen, although it's not touchscreen, that kind of came out in the later models. It's very easy to get used to. You know, you have your controls down here. Everything just makes sense in this Alfa, which I guess I really appreciate. And everything's kind of designed and integrated. Brake pedal is a little bit weird to get used to. It does take some time before you can kind of modulate it well. It's not a traditional braking system. You know, the electric brakes are a little bit weird in terms of feel. But once you get used to them, there's good stopping power, good bite on the brakes when you really get in there, and then they become pretty easy to modulate too. So a little bit of a learning curve with them, but nothing you couldn't get used to after driving this car for a few weeks. All right, so while we're waiting at the stop sign, we're going to switch the car into dynamic. And this is the sportiest mode of them all. So you get the best transmission response, the most power and engine response. And it's gonna send most of that power to the rear wheels and give you kind of that sporty rear-wheel drive feel, even though this is an all-wheel drive model. And instantly you can tell the throttle response is just so much sharper. I mean, you just put your foot on the gas the slightest bit and it just wants to go. Let's get her on the road. Oh my gosh. Wow. It's something you're not expecting from this car. And it, oh. Wow, and that exhaust kind of burble and crackle when you upshift, even in the automatic mode, is great. It's really not something you expect from driving this car. You know, you look at it and it's like, oh, you know, that's a pretty car. But then you get behind the wheel and it's this like savage beast when you put it into sport mode. I mean, that was like half throttle and it still just shots you, you know, it shoots you out of a corner, out of a turn, and it propels you pretty good in a straight line. Let's actually roll down this window here as we got a little bit of a tunnel. Oh my gosh, that's intoxicating. It just shoots off the line. You get that sound from the transmission when it shifts, and everything just works together and pairs together beautifully in this Giulia. You really can't make up how, you know, great this engine and transmission work together. That ZF 8-speed automatic shoots off shifts quickly and you know, pretty aggressively. Actually, it feels kind of like a dual clutch almost, where it's just primed for the next gear, and then it gives you that little bit of punch in your back when you shift. But wow. And you can see the transmission's really holding on to those gears in the dynamic mode. It's not shifting up. It's keeping me in the rev range so that turbo is always kind of spooled up and ready to go when I want it to. All right, we're gonna slow down a little bit here so we can do that again. And that way we can test a little bit of the handling in the Giulia as well. Give these cars some space in front of us. All right, throttle it out. Yeah, I mean, this car pulls. I mean, every time I get in it too, it's surprising. It's not something that ever gets old. I mean, this car is punchy. You know, it's not just like, oh, it's quick. You know, it's actually fast. And getting it around some of these curves here, the handling, it's just, the chassis is so neutral, and the steering is just so communicative and precise that you can place this car. It feels like I'm driving on the front wheel. I can place this car wherever I want to. I mean, even within the curve, I can just put the car exactly where I please. It just hugs these curves and then rockets out when you throttle. I mean, it's great. There's virtually no understeer in this chassis, and you feel like you could do 1,000,000 miles an hour around any corner. It's very confidence inspiring, and it's got just a great sense of power and character. That's the biggest thing in this car, is its character. It's got a soul. You know, a lot of these German competitors like Audi, BMW, Mercedes, yeah, they get the job done, and on paper they're, you know, just as good, but they don't have the soul that this Alfa has. This car just screams, and it bellows, and it goes, and it's got so much just character. I mean, I can't describe it any other way. It just wants to get up and go. And if we throw it around this corner here, my gosh, man, oh man, this car. And then if we want to try out manual mode, we flick the lever one gear to the left, one shift to the left, and to go up is down, and to downshift is going away from you. And shifts in manual mode are super responsive. You know, they're very instantaneous, downshifts and upshifts in the manual mode as well. And if we just drop a few gears, whoo, and you get that crackle from the exhaust. Oh my gosh, I can't tell you how good this car sounds. I don't know if the camera picks it up, you know, does it a justice, but when you're inside the car, my God, you get this boom, boom, and just all this noise. Oh, and it feels so good to shift. Again, you get that in manual mode. You really get a kick in your back. Ah, downshifts. Listen to that. Ooh. All the way to red line. Woo-hoo-hoo. Oh my gosh, wow. I mean, this car gets up to speed fast. You could get in some serious trouble in this car, and this is just the base Giulia. And again, around these corners, I mean, I'm doing speeds I probably shouldn't be around that corner, and it's just gripping and going. And I'm on all seasons too. I mean, this car just really has some giddy up, and around a corner, there's no other sports sedan that I've driven that feels quite as good as this does. Even short shifting it a little bit. Wowee. I mean, oh my goodness. The only thing I miss on this car, since this is the base model, is those beautiful aluminum giant column mounted paddle shifters. But this stick works just as great too. This gear lever feels great in your hand. Man. Woohoo! Oh my gosh. All right. That is so full on. I gotta take a break from that. Put it back in automatic. Wow, wow, wow. I mean, guys, I've never driven a sports sedan that has this kind of dual personality that this car does. I mean, dynamic mode, it's truly feels like a sports car. It feels better than some sports cars, actually. Very Ferrari-esque. I know everybody's like, oh, you know, you say it's kind of like a Ferrari, that's kind of cliche. But it has the Ferrari engine. It has a carbon fiber drive shaft. It weighs less than 4,000 pounds. I mean, this car, it feels like a Ferrari. Yeah, it does. But then you put it in the normal mode, or the A mode, and you back off a little bit, and you just cruise, and it quiets up, transmission kind of lulls, engine dulls down, and it's comfortable. I mean, it's a 4-door, 5-passenger, you know, sedan that can get you around any kind of weather, any situation, and yet at the same time, it's a sports car when you want it to. I mean, I can't think of a better car, or, you know, a better thing to have. If this is kind of the ultimate daily driver, you know, not too much cash, but you're getting everything you want in a car. You're getting a little bit of everything. And I think that's what makes this car so special, is just how great it is at doing all the sportiness, and it gives you the luxury and comfort you want as well. So I think that's going to wrap up my review for this beautiful 2017 Alfa Romeo Giulia Q4. If you guys did enjoy, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, if you have any cool cars that you'd like me to film, and you want me to review them for you, I'd be more than happy to. There's a link in the description for my email and for more info. But yeah, that's gonna wrap it up, guys. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.